Hey everybody, Lee from PcjunkieMods here. What I have in front of me is the pretty much completed customer client build number 1. This is part 3 to the video. I know I said I was going to build some of it on video, but you know, time's running out. I got to get it done for the customer. So what I'll do though is I'm going to give you guys kind of a breakdown of what all I did and how I did it or whatever, so that way you can kind of figure that out. On my next build I'll probably end up doing a complete build on camera from start to finish, and then that way, you know, if there's any questions, at least you'll be able to see what happened or how I did it, stuff like that. So you know, the only thing is when I'm pressed for time doing these builds on YouTube and stuff, is that it's not a, you know, nobody wants to sit and watch a 46 to an hour minute, you know, 46-minute video or longer. So I mean, that's why I'm trying to push out 12, 15, 20-minute top videos, because then at least, you know, I'll keep your interest, versus if I'm doing an hour video and you're just watching me mod and I'm not really talking to you about stuff, then it just kind of becomes boring. I don't like watching long-ass videos, so I don't want you to have to sit and watch a long-ass video. But anyways, let's get a little bit into this build here. So as you can see, this is my Cosmos 2 door. So this is something that my customer wanted. This door is not complete yet. I still got to polish it out and clean it up. I cleaned it up for the video. So basically, this is the video, or this is the door that I'm offering. People are hitting me up for these doors. I've already sold quite a few of them. They're very nice. They have the bend. There is no port, but there is enough gap here that these fans at the bottom will pull fresh air in there. So you know, that's the good thing about a fan. No matter what, it's gonna find a spot to pull air in. So let me go ahead and grab this camera and do a little zoom in here, so that way you guys can at least get a better look at what all is going on in there. A lot of people gave me crap about the blue RAM and the SSDs, you know, the color, or well, at least the RAM, because the red liquid. So here, I'll just go ahead and pop this off. That'll make life easier. So what I did here is, obviously I tested all the parts. You guys saw that in part 2. I went ahead and tested the board, the CPU, the GPUs, made sure everything was working correctly and all that stuff. So once I did that, I basically started out with putting the board in. So once the boards were in there, I went ahead and threw the GPUs in there, and that was my main concern, is getting those parts in there. And then I moved on down here, and my little rad sandwich is in the bottom. I'll open the door here in a minute, and then you don't see the glare. I'm sure my customer is going to want 2 LED fans there. So the thing that sucks about that is those fans right there actually move quite a bit of air. So if I put the LED fans, like these are the Vegas Duos from Enermax or EcoMaster. So if I put those 2 down there, it'll be fine, because there's 6 of those Cooler Master blades in the bottom there. So I mean, they're gonna move air no matter what. Even if I have the 2 LED ones that just move a little bit of air, they don't move as much. The static pressure on those Cosmos fans is like, I don't know, I think it was like rated at its highest speed close to 3.0 or something like that. So I think that's good. I don't know much about static pressure yet. I haven't had a chance to read up on it, so I'm gonna have to do some reading on that. But they're the highest rating that I found available for the fans that I was looking at. So anyway, so let me go ahead and open this door up real quick. Anyways, okay, so we're back. So now you can see my door here, nice, clean, real nice. You can see the bend right here from top to bottom. So this is bent with my bender. So when you use the bender, it just, you see the little kind of not really discoloration, but the stretch mark, or just where it was heated up. So it gives you that kind of ripple effect, but for it's consistent all the way down. So that's a good thing. But anyways, so as you can see, the door, it comes off. I got the hinges on it. So I just tap those and then put those in. So another thing, okay, so for the SSDs here, I actually made a bracket here, and then I tucked all the wires behind it, so you can see the bracket there, and then you can see the actual SATA plugs that come through the drive cage. They're in between the drives, so you know, shouldn't be any interference there. I've already checked to make sure they're not too tight and they're nice and snug inside in the SSDs. So it works out great. I ran the power wire down the center of this little channel, so it runs down and then out the back. I don't even know if you can see it under there. Yeah, I think you can. So then this wire here, unfortunately, I haven't really finished it because I'm not sure. I put a piece of double-sided tape right there to hold it, but earlier it wasn't staying, so I'm gonna have to figure something else out, and that's for the LEDs, obviously. And I also have another LED light bar up here on the top. It pretty much lights up the whole case, so everything looks great. So I'll give you a makeover, and then here's our RAID card. This is the Adaptec 5805. It is running two different RAIDs right now. It's running a RAID 5 for the storage and then a RAID 0 for the SSDs. So you're able to do that on this card. You can run multiple RAIDs. And just as long as you see that little 40mm fan sitting there? That's a Delta 40mm fan. Kicks ass. Keeps it nice and cool. So basically the specs on this, I mean, I think most people know, but if somebody tunes in, I'll basically, you got the Rampage Forward 3960X, two 690s, so that's quad SLI right there, two Vector 512 SSDs, 32 gigs of Kingston 1600 megahertz RAM, a bunch of EK goodness and coolants goodness. All the fittings are coolants, all the blocks and radiators are EK except for the rad up top. So basically, I didn't even think about it. I could have swore I measured the EK360. Remember seeing that in my prior video. Well, that thing is just too big. It will not fit up there with in this case. It was overlapping the heat sink. It was actually coming all the way to like right here, so it was hitting this. It would have hit the RAM. You can't even get to the release latches on the RAM. It would have been butted up against the power, so had to ditch that. You know, but I got a Coolants 360 up there. Fits nice and snug, nice and purty. I wish I would have been able to do some custom wires on this. If I'd have done custom wiring, then everything would have been cut to fit, stuff like that. So that's I think that's about it for the inside. Actually, let me take off. Let me show you. I gotta get a light, so I'll be right back. Okay, so basically, I remember in the previous video I showed you the rad sandwich. Well, in the rad sandwich, I had the both these 240s bridged together for the drain plug. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but it finally crossed my mind that what would happen there is, you know, the liquid's going to take the least restrictive area or route. So there's the inlet at the bottom of this rad, and at the top is the bridge that bridges the two rads together. So what would have happened there is basically it would have came in here, it would have went across the bottom of the rad and over to across here to the other rad and then right back out. So it never actually fully utilized this whole radiator or these two radiators, so there'd be really no point to have both the radiators. So what I did is obviously I disconnected the bridge between the back of the two rads. Now what I ended up doing on the system when I filled it is kind of funny, is I flipped this whole case upside down and I used the drain port. I know a lot of people were probably going to be like, well, what do you mean you use the drain port? Well, I literally flipped this system upside down because most of the liquid is stored down here in these rads right here. So when I flipped it upside down and I started filling it, I mean, it literally Started coming through here, filled all this up, came through here, filled that rat up, came all the way here, and actually came all the way up to here. The only thing that did not have liquid in it was the reservoir. So I mean, it filled and filled and filled until it wouldn't fill no more, and then I actually turned it right side up and proceeded to fill the reservoir and stuff. So here's the Coolants 401 X2, the RP 401 X2. Right now it only has one bay filled. I did not fill the other side yet because basically that's just for aesthetics, for looks. There is an LED in there. Doesn't look like it's very bright, but you know, it's just shining in there, whatever, so you can at least see the level. And here's my temporary fill port. So basically all I did here is, to top it off and stuff, is I just popped this off. I actually had the case tilted back to try to get some of the air out of it. I popped this off, and then I screw in my compression fitting with the hose. I'm just using something like this. So, and then it just be sticking out of here like that. And I just keep topping it off until it was full. And it's actually, the levels come down a little bit because if I tilt it back, I can see an air bubble, so I'll go ahead and top it off again. So anyway, so onto the back area. Here's another reason why I say, you know, I wish I was able to do some like custom cables, because I mean, it looks okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I need a better light. Hold on. Alright, so I got a better light. So basically, I mean, my buddy was over here. He said he said something to the effect, man, I'm gonna have you do my wiring. And I looked at this and I was like, nah, it's okay. I mean, it's not like there's a big rat's nest back here. It's all staged. So basically I wired in the RAID first because those wires are more complicated and not as easy to bend as everything else. And I think the next thing that I wired in was probably the fans. And then I did the wires for the case, at least most of them. And I think at that point, that's when I brought in the fan controller and wired in 90% of the wires. I took out all the fan controller wires for the fans, for the fan controller up top, all the LED switch plugs except for one, which is controlling that front fan, which turns out to be a blue LED. So I'll be pulling that fan out here pretty soon to put in another one. And then what I did for the fans is I got these little bricks, these Molex to 3-pin bricks. They support up to 8 fans. They work great. I love them. I used them on a couple of my other builds, and there's also one up here. So this controls the top area fans and this front fan here. I'll probably be switching that out to a Bitfinex Spectro or whatever those new 200mm fans are. They push a lot of air. So I have a white LED one here, but I don't think he wants that. So the only custom wiring I did here was this SATA plug here, the power. So basically I took the original SATA power and popped off all the SATA plugs except for the end one. I put the end one on the drive, and then I put all the other connectors on the drives and then just pushed in all the wires. That's why I like these end cap kind of SATA plugs. And then I took all the these cables here, the actual SATA cables, are part of the SAS to SATA connector for the RAID card. So you got to use those unless you buy an aftermarket one. Maybe an aftermarket one would be a little more forgiving as far as kind of getting it to bend, because these ones are very stiff and not so forgiving. So then these two here are the two that are going to the vector drives up front, and then I have a spare sitting around here somewhere, hidden under a drive, I think. I don't know where, but so then you can see the bracket in the back. Didn't end up having to paint the bracket. I mean, there's really no point. You're not going to see it. It's underneath all that stuff, so should be good. And then these little connectors here are the speed dials and LED switching mode for the duo fans up top. And then there's one right here also for the back one. So the top ones you're not really gonna see them. He will, because it's gonna be under his table, but you can't see them from inside the case. So but anyways, there's a little view. Oh, I guess my strap is in the video, huh? Whoops. Oh well. So that's about it. I mean, for the most part, it's just, you know, built the computer, got all the main hardware in there. Once I got the main hardware in, I figured out, I kind of knew where I was going to be running the lines and stuff like that. I mean, I thought about taking the CPU block and flipping it and then popping off the EK symbol and stuff like that, but you know, I think it actually looks pretty good, so I left it alone. So yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be pretty happy. And the best part about it is, I know a lot of people were like, blue and red, blue and red. Well, the owner of this PC served in the military for 20 plus years. He retired from the military. I think he said it was the Navy. So I'm pretty sure he's kind of a patriotic guy. So I mean, if I would have threw white in here and made it red, white, and blue, I think he'd be totally stoked. You know, when I told him this, it pretty much looked like a patriotic build right now with the red and blue. He was pretty happy. He's excited to get his PC. I think I'll be delivering his PC probably Tuesday once I polish out the door and stuff. So yeah, he's pretty stoked. So anyway, so that's that's that. And like I said before, if anybody's interested in the Cosmos 2 windows, you know, I have a video where I did, you know, talked about the Cosmos 2 window before, you know. So basically, I mean, this is what you get. You get an acrylic door. There's no ports on it. It's gonna be tapped out for the hinges. I will not port it, and I'll explain that to people right now in this video real quick. If I was to port this, one of the fans lands on that bend right there. So there's no way for me that I can think of to get that hole drilled without it oblonging or looking just retarded. Okay, because I mean, yeah, piece of cake. I could, if I had those holes, not a problem to get a fan grill on there and make it look tits. Guaranteed it would look tits. I could buy one of those fan grills off of Performance, bend it right where it needs to be bent, mount it to the outside of the door here, and it would look pretty awesome. But the problem is to get the holes correctly, and I'm not going to be cutting a big old square hole here and call that ported, because that's just a cheesy way out. I mean, I spent all this time, you know, making this door. These doors are not done in like 15 minutes. They take me a couple days just to do one. It's all by hand. I use a hand sander to sand all the edges, but then I wet sand it by hand. So I mean, a lot of people ask me, why am I charging 200 bucks a door? That's why, because everything's done by hand. If I had a CNC machine, I'm sure life would be a lot more easier. Speaking of which, I may be getting one. I gotta call somebody. So you know, once I call that guy and we duke it out over the phone to see if he wants to give me, and some other people also asked me to show them how the door works and stuff like that. This one's not finished, but that's closed. This corner, there you are. I grab it by the bottom corner. It's always the easiest to, because there's no like handle here to grab onto it. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, rock and roll, right? Anyways, so that's it. I want to thank everybody for watching my videos. I will probably be doing another one here pretty quick. I got a customer that's been contacting me about a 900D. That one I will be modding. So basically stripping down the whole case, painting it different color. What else am I doing to it? A valve system for the water cooling. So basically he wants me to have a valve system down here and a valve system up here, basically for draining the system out and for filling the system, closing off from the hardware, stuff like that. He found YouTube where some guy did that and he really liked it. It looked like a pretty cool concept, so I'm going to be incorporating that into his system. I'll also be sleeving his power supply. So I'll do a couple quick clips of the sleeving, but I mean, for sleeving, if you want to learn how to sleeve, go talk to my buddy Mike Landenberger, Lutro Customs. He does the best. So he's been around for a long time. He's been sleeving for a long time. If you got any questions, that's what he does for a living, I think. So you can hit him up on Facebook, Lutro Customs. Check him out on YouTube, Lutro Customs, or Lutro Sleeving. Not sure, but whatever. You get the point. So I'll be back soon, I'm sure, with the next client build. It'll be client build number 2, and hope you can join me. Thank you.